My name is Sarah. Welcome to the It is a Sarah podcast. Today it is Monday, May 4, 2026, and in this episode I want to share my handwerk perikelen, which is a Dutch word for my creative adventures from this week, or actually from the last 2 weeks with you. I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English. I love to knit, I love to crochet, and I love to talk, so that's the perfect combination for making this podcast. I make my episodes in Dutch and in English. They are not similar, so you can watch them both with subtitles if you want to. And if you miss subtitles in a specific language, please let me know in the comments and I will check if I can add them afterwards. Okay, last week I missed my episode. I am quite, how do you say that? I really love my Monday routine and I make episodes almost every Monday. But last Monday it was a special day in the Netherlands and I was not aware of it the week before. I didn't think of it, so I didn't let you know. But I got some messages of people being worried if I was okay. I was definitely okay. It was so sweet. On April 27 we celebrate the birthday of our king in the Netherlands. We call it Koningsdag, which obviously means King's Day. And it's a celebration day, and the king and his family, they visit a specific town in a specific part of the Netherlands, a different one every year, but also in the rest of the country. There are lots of celebrations going on, and one typical thing for King's Day is the flea market. All the people are selling all the things at all the flea markets in all the in all the towns and all the cities, all the villages. So we were doing that as well, but we were at a specific flea market for children in the city center park of our town, and our youngest daughter was selling all her handmade crochet, mainly plants. So and we were picnicking. Friends and family were visiting us. It was very lovely weather. It was a very good day, but there was no time for making episodes that day. So I'm sorry if you were worried. I even didn't let you know, so I'm sorry for that. I was busy celebrating and having a good time. So a lot to share this week. This day is actually a special day as well in the Netherlands. May 4, we call it Dodenherdenking. Yeah, we, I think I searched for the translation, Remembrance Day. On May 4, we remember all the people who died in all the wars. So we do that by being silent for 2 minutes at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. We don't use p.m. That way of saying. So tonight we will do that, and I was thinking about releasing my video. I always do that at 7 p.m. So I was a little bit, shall I do it or not? But I won't make it too long, so So I will be silent at 8 p.m. Anyway, but yeah, I think that's okay. And tomorrow it is Bevrijdingsdag, May 5th, which means the Second World War. 5 May was the day, May 5th was the day our country was bevrijd. How do you say that? The war, or Second World War was over that day. But we are here for the knitting and the crochet part. But I know a lot of people enjoy hearing typical Dutch things as well. I have a lot to share. I can't share everything in this episode. I finished my lovely crochet Happy Granny vest. And I will tell you all about it when time's there. The pattern, I was testing this pattern, and it will be released somewhere in June. And when I know the release date, I will spend much more time on that pattern to share everything. And I hope I will finish a second one, because I really love the pattern. So that's something I finished. I also finished a pair of socks, but they need to be blocked, and I will talk about them another time as well. But I finished more. I am very happy today wearing my Willapund vest for the first time. It is fresh off the needles, freshly blocked, and I am so happy with it. So and there's also a hat, so a lot to tell, and I want to share some plans with you for this week. I want to plan some tasks, and I want to share them with you so you can be my stick behind my door. I don't know if that works, but I think I need it. I like that as well. But let's go to the Willapund Fest because I am so happy with the end result. This is a pattern by Gudrun Johnston, and it was gifted to me by a lovely viewer from the podcast last year. I don't know if you are still viewing, but if that's the case, thank you very much. You brought me a heart-jumping moment because yeah, it was just such a lovely project to knit. And now I am wearing it, I can confirm it's heart-jumping to wear as well. Yeah, I think I shared a little bit about it in previous episodes, so let's start with the yarn. Yes, let's start with the yarn. I knitted with yarn which I didn't bought for this project. I knitted with Jamieson's Shetland Spindrift. I bought it many years ago. I needed to check my bank account to figure out in which store I bought it. I bought it in 2023. It's only 3 years ago. At Trollewol, that's a lovely yarn shop in the middle of the Netherlands, Driebergen. If you ever visit the Netherlands, put Trollewol and also their neighbor Schaapjeswol on your list, because there are two of the most beautiful yarn shops quite close to each other. One only filled with with original Dutch yarn, and one filled with very sustainable Scandinavian, mainly Scandinavian yarns, and also a little bit of the Shetlands. So yeah, I actually bought it to knit my sock cardigan, which in the end I didn't use. I only knitted a part of the sleeve. So I picked the colors for another pattern, and it was still there. I didn't buy enough for a whole cardigan because I wasn't aware those tiny yarn balls are only 25 grams instead of 50 grams, and I didn't calculate, so I bought the half of the amount of yarn I actually needed for a long sleeve cardigan, and then I put it away, and at some point I thought I can make a vest because I will have enough yarn, so it will be a good idea as well. I still have a lot of yarn left. My vest only weighs 148 grams. I was very worried I wouldn't have enough, but that was not necessary at all. I have more than enough left, so I think I can make a second vest. I'm not quite sure what to do with it yet. I haven't decided. I don't know if I will decide in the near future. Maybe I will just put it in a plastic bag and bring it back to my yarn stash again. But because I didn't pick the colors for this specific pattern, I had a little bit of a problem, because the main color, you knit this vest bottom up, and the main color of the ribbing is actually also the main color. All the light right here should have been dark brown as well. But as you can see, the contrast would be way too low, hardly visible. And also I was sure I wouldn't have enough brown to do the ribbing and the body main color in the same color. So lucky me, I had more color, so I could play a little bit with it. So it's not according the pattern. I think it looks really lovely how it's designed as well, with only, let me check, with only 4 colors. Oh, with only 4? Yeah, but I used 5. I used another color for the ribbing, and it's also very much fun. The colors I used, I have my notes in my knitting book. The dark brown is the color coffee for the ribbing. Then I have the main color. Oh, I can pick the yarn balls. That's better. The dark brown is the color coffee. Then I have this color, which I used as a main color. I didn't organize my project bag yet. I always try to do that before I start filming, but yeah. This is the color Ysolda. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know what it means, but a lovely light, a little bit grayish color. Then I have contrast color 1 is the color Birch, which I really love. I don't know if you can see it. It's quite a heathered color with green and brown and a little bit of red and a dog hair I see. I added that myself. Dog hair everywhere in this time of the year. Our Bobby is shedding. So it's really a lovely color. Then I have some Shetland black, which is really dark, and I love that as well. And the last one is Mogget. It's a little bit of a warm brownish grey. So I played a little bit with it. And I think it turned out pretty nice. I love the end result. I knitted this garment on, let me see, the ribbing on 2mm needles and the rest, the color work, on 3.25. It was actually yeah, quite special because I always need to go down 1 needle size, but I didn't need to right now. The recommended needles are also 3.25. I am a loose knitter. But I decided to do it this way anyway, and I'm really happy with how the fabric turned out. I didn't got gauge. My gauge is 25 stitches and the gauge of the pattern is 27 stitches. My row gauge was even more off. 30 rows was my row gauge and the pattern was 34. I love the patterns of Gudrun Johnston. The only thing is she always tells you, or always, I only knitted 2 patterns, the Audrey and Unstfest and also this one. She tells you how many rows you need to knit. But my row gauge is quite often off. My gauge is quite often off. I don't swatch, I just cast on and knit, and I try to do it intuitive, and most of the times it works out pretty well. But when I was taking measurements of this garment, I also thought it doesn't make sense. How are you so lucky you can get a well-fitted garment without calculating, just knitting intuitive? Yeah, it doesn't make sense because, yeah, the measurements, I don't know. I knitted quite some garments a little bit too fitted, and I did choose the fitted sizes on purpose. But since a year I'm trying to go for a little bit of a looser fit. So for this one I picked size 2. The garment is meant to be worn with 0 to 2.5 centimeters of positive ease, 0 or 1 inch positive ease. And size 2 had a bust circumference of 90.5 centimeter. So that would be exactly okay. I have a bust circumference of 90 centimeters. I think it's 36 something inch. I'm not quite sure. My finished measurements bust circumference is 69. No, 96. No, 69. I'm saying it. Oh, this is really easy. Oh, I feel ashamed right now. In Dutch we say 96. And in English you say 96. So that's the other way around. So that's confusing me right now. So I have 6 centimeters of positive ease. It's a little bit more as recommended, but I think it's okay. The only thing is the bottom is quite wide, and I wouldn't mind if it when this would be a little bit more squeezing in, but on the other side it is actually okay and it's feeling really nice. So I accidentally knit the perfect fit. What I really love on this garment is the neckline. As you probably know if you watch my podcast for a longer time, I really struggle with the round yokes. I love the look of round yoke sweaters, and I knitted myself many round yoke sweaters and cardigans. And cardigans are okay because I can wear them open fronted, but the round yoke sweaters, they don't fit me well, they don't look good on me well, and especially they don't feel good on me. And this way, with this construction, I can make a low neckline and color work. And of course, it looks completely different than a round yoke color worked sweater, but still you have the color work and you have the neckline. So I really love it. And the way you construct this is this one is knitted bottom up. So you cast on, you start ribbing, you knit in the round, nothing is happening shaping wise, you only do the colors, and then at a certain point you split for the sleeves. And I didn't follow the pattern exactly because the pattern tells you to put your stitches on hold, but I don't like doing that. So I binded them off. And then you cast on, in the next round, you cast on new stitches for the steek. So you have a steek right here and a steek right here. So you are still knitting in the round. A little bit later, you do the same thing for the neckline. The pattern tells you to put some stitches on hold for the neckline. I didn't do that, I binded them off. And then you cast on new stitches for the steek. But obviously the steek stitches are not as many as the stitches you bind off. So your knitting gets a very weird shape. In my Dutch episode, I am bringing you a little bit with me during the process, so if you are curious how it looks, and I think I will use that picture for the thumbnail as well, you can see it. It's looking really weird. And something else, you can't fit. You definitely can't fit because you can't fit in your knitting. And that makes it a little bit exciting deciding when you have enough length. And especially when you're not matching with your row gauge, you need to figure it out yourself. And I was so happy with my notes. When I needed to, in the pattern, Gudrun was telling when you needed to start the neckline, I think. And I thought that's way too late for me. I'm already there. Or maybe it was with the armholes. And we were on holiday with our camper van. But what I always do, or what I always try to do, is add some pictures of my knitting book notes to my Ravelry page. And in my knitting book notes there are also my measurements. So I know exactly which garments in my wardrobe have the right fit, the perfect length or the perfect width or whatever. So I could check my notes to decide how many centimeters I needed before I started the armholes. And later for the neckline as well. We were back home, I guess. I'm not quite sure. So I could lay it on another cardigan I once made with the same construction, my housed cardigan. I also show it in my Dutch episode. And it really worked well. So yay for making notes. I know it's not everyone's thing to make notes. And for quite a while I was not a note maker myself as well, but for me it's so helpful to keep track, to write down my measurements. And you don't have to make beautiful notes, but helpful notes. Yeah, they are really helping me deciding which measurements my garments need. For this one I especially planned it to wear it on dresses, so it might be a little bit on the short side on a skirt. I didn't check it yet. But that's also interesting when you make a garment that fits on dresses and on skirts. It can be a little bit in between, not perfect for one and also not perfect for the other. Because I am the owner of quite some hand knitted items now, I try to decide for skirts or for dresses, and it works pretty good. Yeah. So when I finished, oh, I also did a little bit different on the shoulders. There was an extra stick for the neck shaping and also some extra color work right here, but I was done with it, and also it was such a short amount. I thought I just knit plain back and forth, so I played with it, and I was very proud that I was understanding what I was doing. For quite a while I needed to follow the patterns very detailed, especially when I was not understanding what I was doing. I just needed to follow the pattern, and at some point I thought, oh, was I doing this? And yeah, I learn by doing, and I was a person who thought that I would never be able to knit things. So this is actually quite, do you call it an accomplishment? Something I reached, that I was reading the pattern and I thought, no, I prefer to do it this way. I never thought, would have thought that I would be such a person. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But I won't tell you how many items I needed to knit before I was able to do this. Yeah, I really recommend this pattern. I love it. And I just saw another item on Gudrun's Instagram, a V-shaped vest with a button band in her new book, and I thought I need that in my life as well. What I think of the sleeveless vests, I think vests are always sleeveless, but in the Netherlands we use the word vest for a cardigan, and we call this een spencer, or yeah, sometimes a slip over. We don't have a typical Dutch word for it, I guess. But making sleeveless garments is really something I like, because you can layer up pretty easy, and also in this time of the year. Today's a grey and a little bit of a wet day, but temperatures are quite high. It's around 20 degrees, and we had so much sunny spring, early sunny weather last 2 weeks. And now I can wear it with short sleeves, with nothing over it. And I can wear it with a long sleeve t-shirt under it, and I can wear it with a warm woolly cardigan over it. So I can only not wear it when it's very hot summer weather. The model, the fit would be perfect, but the yarn would be too itchy for me. So I could wear it with no t-shirt under it as a sleeveless top, but the yarn would make me feel crazy, I guess. I love woolly yarns, but not when temperatures are, I think, above 25 degrees. So it's the perfect garment, and yeah, I'm really, really, really happy. I'm so happy with it. So yeah, I made a little video on Instagram this morning. Maybe I can share something of it at the end of this episode. Yeah, absolutely recommend this pattern. Had a lot of fun. My next Gudrun Johnston pattern will be a cardigan with long sleeves. I don't know the name. The Heritage cardigan, maybe? It's quite a new pattern. I bought 100% Dutch yarn, Dutch woolly yarn at Schaapjeswol, and I want to make that, but I don't know when. Yeah, I want to make a lot. So yeah, one thing I found very helpful at this pattern, I can't really show it to you. I always print my patterns in, I always print my patterns. I love to work from paper and not from a screen. Nothing wrong with that if that's what you prefer, but I prefer to don't spend too much time behind the screen. And the black and white chart was not really working, so I asked my husband if he could make a color print at his work, and it's on the back side, so very quick look, because I don't want to give away anything of this pattern. Oh, doorbell's ringing. I'm not home alone, so it's okay. But this was so helpful for me. Sometimes when colors are changing, you can be confused, which is my main color right now. When you are knitting color work, you have your the color you want to pop out. No one's opening the door. One moment, please. I thought I was not home alone, but apparently I am. When you are knitting color work with two colors, you hold the dominant color in your left hand and the other color in your right hand. Or when you are knitting with both strands at the left, you hold your dominant color the most left. I'm a little bit out of breath running up and down 2 stairs. It's my exercise of the day. Maybe I should have waited 1 minute longer. I'm sorry for that. It's the reality. The dominant color is the color you want to pop out. So most of the time the lighter color is not the dominant color, but the motif colors are the dominant colors. But sometimes it was switching, and it was very helpful that there was the project color, I think the pattern color and the background color, and so you didn't have to doubt. Sometimes in a color work pattern you think, which one do I need to choose right now? And most of the times you can choose yourself and it will be all right. But here Gudrun helps you. So that was very helpful. I really loved that. I've never seen that in a color work pattern before. It makes quite a difference if you hold your yarn one way or the other way, and you can play with it, of course, but there are quite some videos on YouTube about color dominance in color work. Yeah, okay. The Willapund vest, absolutely a lovely pattern. I recommend it. It's not hard to knit. The color work is pretty easy. It are 6 stitches, and what I always use when I knit color work, I can't knit color work without them. They are not right here. Oh, my stitch markers. I have those. I have a lot of them downstairs, but I don't want to run downstairs again. I don't have any. No, I don't have them here, but just those tiny metal stitch markers, those round circles, they are perfect to divide your stitches in the amount of stitches your chart is. So this chart was 6 stitches, so every 6 stitches I put a color work, a stitch marker between my stitches. So it's very repetitive, and especially when the color work pattern is so easy, I need the stitch markers more. So you can get in the 6 stitch rhythm very easy, and when you make a mistake you will discover it pretty quick in the next round and you can fix it. So yeah, I'm really nowhere without my stitch markers when I'm knitting color work. So, and I didn't know that in the beginning, so that's why I mention it, because maybe when you are knitting it for the first time, color work for the first time, it can be helpful for you as well. The sticks were a little bit exciting, of course. It's always exciting to cut in your knitting. I can show it, the inside, because I did a crochet reinforcement, but again I show you more of that in the Dutch episode. I didn't do a facing in these sticks because it's just the inside, it's not a cardigan. It looks pretty neat. With a simple stitch I sewed it down, and I just cut my yarn ends. I did weave them in on other places because the beginning of round was right here, so I did weave them in, but at this part I cut them off and the ends are hidden in under this one. So yeah, really lovely pattern. Happy Sarah. I will definitely make more of these items. You can of course even play with your own color work. When you have such a pattern and you know the fit is right, you can play with your own color work. So maybe I can do that with the leftovers. I can make my own chart. I have a lot of books filled with a lot of charts, which I'm not using as much as I wanted to, as much as I thought when I bought those books. So yeah, that would be lovely as well. Okay, I will share my Ravelry project page in the show notes. I am not pretty sure if I manage to finish it before the video will be online. So if it's not updated, it will be pretty soon this week. I have another finished object. I finished this hat. This is the Musselburgh head. It's a hard word to pronounce. I think I need to say Musselburgh. I think I need to say that. Diane learned me that. But it feels unnatural to say that for me. It's a pattern by Ysolda Teague, and I made this head for my husband. I knitted a Musselburgh many years ago. I don't know when exactly, for my mother-in-law, and she did choose her colorway herself, and it was red and blue and white. It was not my colorway, but she really loves the head and she wears it all the time in winter. And my husband put it on his head, and he was very, very surprised by the fit and the feeling, so he wants such a head himself. And he's wearing, my husband is slowly turning into a woolly man, and I'm so happy with that, because he wasn't at all, and he think wool is itchy, but he's wearing all the woolly socks right now, and hats, and yeah, he really appreciates it. So if you have a husband who doesn't really like you knitting for him, be patient, because yeah, it was the same right here, but after a few years he's really into it. So, and I adore him when he is wearing woolen socks and his head, and I really think it looks so good. I think a woolen man is really a sexy man. So yeah, I tell him that all the time, so that motivates him as well. So I need to knit. This was his birthday present, and we picked yarn together at a lovely Dutch yarn dyer. Her name is Marianne, and her company is called Lindewol, and she has this beautiful blend, and we were specifically for this searching for this blend because it's the same blend as the yarn for my mother-in-law. It is 60% merino, superwash merino. It is 20% silk and 20% yak. And the colorway is Red Tiger Eye. It's a gemstone, and it's one of my favorite gemstones. I must confess, this was not one of my favorite knitting projects, although I think the pattern is really genius. It's also very boring knit, especially when it's in one color. Even it's your favorite color. I love brown. I love the Red Tiger Eye color. It's my favorite color, but I was really bored. The beginning, is this the beginning or the end? I think this is the beginning. I like the beginning. What I like at the pattern of Ysolda Teague is that it works with gauge. You can knit it in quite some gauges. And in quite some sizes. So you cast on the same as when you crochet in the round, but then with a knitting needle, and then you make some increases, and I love the look of that. And when you can knit, when you can measure 1 centimeter, I guess, how many stitches you have on 1 centimeter, you can check your gauge, and you know the size, the measurements of the head. You can decide which size you need to follow to get the right fitting head. So that was really interesting. I also measured my mother-in-law's. I did knit the same size, but my gauge was different. I think this was a little bit tighter. I knit it on 2mm needles. That's not a recommended needle, but I just am a loose knitter, and that's not, when you are knitting with such a soft yarn, my stitch definition is not always nice and neat, and I don't like that as well, but it's okay, and especially when it's on his head, he is very happy. So you fold it double, and it makes it as the perfect beanie. And I was a little bit worried, is it too short or not, but the size is really perfect. So he's really happy with it, and I'm afraid I need to knit another one day. But then I might pick a more exciting color, although I can imagine why he wants such a beautiful neutral color. Yeah, it's also good. Maybe I should cast on one immediately, because it's the perfect bring with you knit. You knit endless. In the round, it feels like a big sock, and only the beginning and the end you need to do some increases and decreases, but when you cast on, and you have it in your backpack and suddenly it will be finished. It's not, yeah, there was a little bit of time pressure right now, so yeah, but I love it. So those were the two items I wanted to share with you today. As I said, I also finished my stripy socks, but they will come later. I have so many plans. I'm still not knitting really summer items. I have 2 summer items on my needles, but they are leftovers from summer 2025. So they are slowly growing, but I'm not casting on any summer items yet. I am feeling the sparkle, but I also am feeling the fix and finish everything needs, so I'm focusing on that right now. And I thought it might be helpful to pick a few things to talk about it, to show you, as I said, as a stick behind the door, so I can focus on those this week. Yeah, and I don't know if it helps, but it might motivate me to get things done. A lot of the things are only very small tasks, which only need an hour, maybe 2 hours, and then they are done and they can get off my list. But yeah, most of the time I'm doing other things. So let me grab them. I have a big pile, and the one on top is actually not a task that I need to finish. This is a new cast on from yesterday. I was weaving in all the yarn ends of my Willapund vest, and I was saving all the yarn ends, and then I asked on Instagram, what do you do with your yarn ends? And I always put them in a plant pot upstairs, and downstairs I have a bigger basket. I always save every yarn end and also every little piece of fabric, and I stuff mainly my crochet cacti or sometimes a pillow with it. When you are making stuffies, it can be more helpful to really use wool, or even the fiber fill I used for the dinosaur. I think I need to sneeze. Hay fever season has started, but most of the time when I say I need to sneeze, my sneeze disappears. So yeah, I think it's gone right now. But my plant pot upstairs, it's really filled with a lot of yarn ends, so I thought it would be time to crochet a new plant, and I'm making the soil for it right now. I cast it on yesterday. I have this thrifted cotton and I hold it double. Yeah, I want to make a big plant, so I can put a lot of yarn ends and little fabric pieces in it. And I want to finish the soil, not the plant, but the soil this week. So that's on my list. Then something which is almost finished is my sock cardigan. This is the sock cardigan I knitted, and I talked about it later. I turned it into a V-shaped neckline, but I knitted it too small. It's too fitted, so the button band is gaping. My daughter loves to wear it, but I want to wear it myself as well. And a lot of you commented under my video a few weeks ago, why don't you sew the button band so you can wear it as a sweater? And in the beginning I thought, no, I don't do that. She can wear it. But later I thought, why shouldn't I try? I can unrip it anyway if I don't like it. So I am sewing it down. There was a little problem, but I will tell you more about it in next week's video. I think we are good right now, and I want to save it this week so I can wear it as a sweater. It's a mess behind me. I'm sorry for that. Let's hide the mess behind my back. Then this sweater, oh yeah. This is my Kerr sweater. This is my New Year's cast on, and it's in the lovely yarn of Roll Up the Sheep. I bought it at Knitfest in Zurich last November, and I love this sweater. It's only a little bit too wide and too short, and I need to add some extra length. But it never happened, so I need to wind up my last skein and unravel the ribbing. And what I think this sweater needs is just some extra centimeters, the centimeters of the ribbing. I need to add that in stockinette and then knit the ribbing again. And then the sweater, I was knitting it for on my dress, but because it's a little bit wider as expected, doesn't always turns out pretty well. I love to have it a little bit longer so I can wear it on skirts and it will be a little bit oversized, because I love the fit actually and I love the sleeves, but not when it's too short. So I want to finish it this week, because I wanted to wear this sweater this week when it was a little bit colder in the evening, but I didn't. It was too short for my skirt and I didn't love the look, so I want to finish it so it's off my list and I can wear it because I love it. I love it. It's such a lovely sweater. And last but not least, I have this beautiful piece of fabric. I bought it at Linen Graphy on Etsy. And I want to turn it into a dress or into a skirt, or actually I hope I can turn it into a dress and a skirt, and I want to start with that this week. I don't need to finish it this week, but I want to check if I can cut my fabric. So I want to make a hinterland dress, just a sleeveless one, as I'm wearing all the time because I love them, but I also would love to have a long skirt. I don't know, I need to puzzle a little bit with my paper pattern pieces to figure out what I can make of it. So I will spend some time with this one as well this week. So those are my plans for this week, and of course I have all my other knitting, all the projects on my needles, which I am really enjoying, and every now and then a little bit of focus. So we shall see if it works, if it will work. I will bring you with me this week for next week's English episode, and maybe my plans will be totally different, but that's also okay. Having fun is my my biggest, how do you say it? My biggest goal. But sometimes making plans can influence the having fun. Sometimes it can bring you more fun, but also sometimes it can bring you less fun. So yeah, we shall see. We shall see. It will be a surprise. Okay, this was it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I already said that. I hope you will have a wonderful week with a lot of heart jumping moments. If you can't find them, create them, because we need them. I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.